Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin. I'm an author and speaker, and welcome to the Divine Feminine Empowerment Vlog number 5. I'm here today with my Padawan Grogu, who is over my shoulder, and I have my little Grogu tumbler here with some ginger turmeric tea. It's tea time or coffee time, and let's have a little discussion on this vlog. So if you're interested in finding out more, please join me. Today's topic is we need to raise our vibration as divine feminines. No more stinking thinking. All right, let's get settled. Let's get comfortable. Grab your tea and let's go. Just gonna take a little sip of my tea here. That's mighty hot. So let's discuss what I was thinking about the Divine Feminine Collective, empowerment for divine feminines in this collective. And the one thing that did come to me most recently is that energy has been low. The vibrations have been low. And divine feminines around the world are losing hope. They're losing their energy. They're losing their strength. They're losing their faith. And it makes me really sad to see that and feel that. And it's kind of dragged me down a little bit myself into those lower vibrations because I am a part of the Divine Feminine Collective. And this isn't to cast blame on any individual or individuals. It's just as a general whole, our vibrations have been rather low lately. When I speak about lately, I'm speaking about the past 4, 5, 6 months. The vibrations have been low in the Divine Feminine Collective. A lot of divine feminines are abandoning the journey. A lot of divine feminine twin flames are throwing in the towel and saying, no more, I'm not doing this anymore. And while that's all well and good, it doesn't necessarily honor your spirit, your soul's purpose and what you came here to do. And so if you throw in the towel and you just say, well, forget it, I'm not doing this anymore. Basically, you're just saying, I don't want to raise my vibration. I want to keep it at a lower level. It's just easier that way. Because of course, what I write about in all of my books, what I write about in Twin Flame Romance, Twin Flame Union, Heal Yourself or Return to Wholeness, and of course, this upcoming book, The Empowered Divine Feminine, is that this journey is first and foremost about raising your vibration. And when I talk about no more stinking thinking, it's because your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create your reality. And I often do videos against certain paintings and that I have, but you don't always see the full painting. And it's a Buddha painting and it says enlightenment. I'm just going to read it over here. And it says, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. All we are is the result of what we have thought. So if your thoughts are in fear mode all the time, then you are going to be in fear mode and you're not going to be healthy and strong and capable and empowered. If your thoughts are worry, that is going to take a toll on your body and you're going to be all hunched over and your head is going to be down and you're going to have a lot of wrinkles on your face because you're always in worry mode. So your thoughts create your reality. And, let's just discuss this a little bit because I know not a lot of you have been raised with the philosophy that my thoughts create my reality, as well as I am the thinker of the thoughts. And many of you know that I studied with Dr. Deepak Chopra for a long time, and I'm certified to teach all of the courses from his philosophy, the Chopra sign. It's not his philosophy, it's an adopted version of Indian philosophy. Deepak Chopra talks about the fact that our thoughts create our reality. And in my teachings through the Chopra Center of meditation, which I teach primordial sound meditation, which is basically a mantra-based meditation practice. It's a silent mantra-based meditation practice. And if you're interested in getting started on that, I have a link below. You could start it on demand. In that course, I teach that you are the thinker of the thoughts. You are not the thoughts. You are the thinker of the thoughts. You are the orchestrator of your own reality. And so we create our own realities. We co-create our own realities. So if your vibration is low, then guess what kind of reality you're creating for yourself? And since we are all in this divine feminine collective, if a majority of divine feminines are co-creating these lower vibrational frequencies because of your stinkin' thinking or my stinkin' thinking, right? I'm not absolved from this because I am also a part of this collective. So if the majority of divine feminines in this collective are collectively having lower vibrational thinking, then it drags down the collective as a whole. Versus if we really work on mastering our thoughts, becoming the thinker of the thoughts, the orchestrator of the thoughts mindfully through mindfulness, then we can work on raising the vibration for the entire collective. I want to say something else, and I'll probably address this in another video because I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a whole other video on this. But another thing that I have noticed as I'm coaching clients, as well as doing individual readings on YouTube for clients, as well as seeing comments on the YouTube videos, what I've noticed is that so many divine feminines do not want to depart from the 3D existence to rise up more into the spiritual existence. What does this mean? It means that in order to rise up into those higher vibrations, it doesn't mean you have to leave Earth, but it means that you need to stay grounded enough so that you can rise up into the higher vibrations and explore your spirituality more and more. In order to do that, you have to let go of the 3D some. You have to let go of your ego some. And you have to practice those spiritual practices on a daily basis. This doesn't come by a once a week practice, a once a month practice, a once a year practice. It doesn't come from that. It comes from daily spiritual practice in order to help transcend into those higher vibrations, into those higher realms. And it really does take that discipline to do that. And what I've noticed is that many divine feminines don't want to do it. They don't want to let go of the 3D. They're very comfortable in the 3D. It's what they've always known, super comfortable. They don't want to give up their time to meditate daily, twice a day. They don't want to give up those ego habits of, checking up on their DM, jealousy, worrying about the third party situation, all of those things. And so because Divine Feminine does not want to do this or does not want to make the effort to do this, saying it's too hard, I don't know how to do it, it takes too much time, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, they just prefer to stay in the 3D world. And again, this is not helping the collective because you can firmly stay rooted in the 3D world while exploring the spiritual aspects of who you are, but you need to do it. It's like you need to take the steps to do it. So going back to the thinking, I was listening to Dr. Deepak Chopra one time in, I don't know, this is probably 12, 13 years ago. And one thing that he had mentioned was he encounters a lot of terminally ill patients in his practice because he practices Ayurvedic medicine. And because Ayurvedic medicine is complementary to Western medicine, and in fact can do a lot of healing on its own, you see a lot of people who come to Ayurvedic medicine, as an example, as a last resort. It's unfortunate, but you do see that they come to alternative and complementary medicines as a last resort. So Dr. Chopra was talking about this woman at his center who was terminally ill. And every time he would have an encounter with this woman, she was positive. And Dr. Chopra says, aggravatingly positive. He said it was just aggravating how positive she was. One time he sat down and spoke to this woman and he said, I've noticed that you are really positive. You are terminally ill. You've got around 2 months to live. Why are you so positive?" And he was just curious as to how she could be so positive. The woman at that particular time broke down in sobs and said, "I'm terrified of having a single negative thought." He explained after that it's not about having positive thoughts all the time, because that is fake, right? It's not authentic, it's fake. Because he said the terrified feeling that she had underneath that, the terrified feeling of having a negative thought was a negative thought, if you will. And that undercurrent of terrified feeling, it overtook the positive thinking. It overtook the positivity that she was trying to portray to the outer world. And so when I say no more stinking thinking, it's not about always having positive thoughts all the time. Because if there is an undercurrent of negative emotions such as anger, fear, frustration, then that undercurrent of negative emotions is going to take precedence over the forced positive thinking. But when I'm talking about you are the thinker of the thoughts, you are the orchestrator of your life, when it comes to how you co-create your life, it's about the directive, right? It's about the directives that you give your thoughts. So do you direct your thoughts into the right direction? Or are you directing your thoughts into the wrong direction? So what is a wrong direction? Self-defeating behavior, having no faith, having no hope, having no joy, being extremely worried about the future, projecting those fears onto your unknown future, for example. So when you want a specific outcome, when you want an outcome that's going to be better than your outcome now, then you need to be the director of those thoughts, the director of what am I going to allow myself to think on a daily basis? What am I going to allow myself to entertain in my mind every moment of every day? It's that. You have direct control over that. Thoughts come and go. And this is another thing that I teach in my meditation course. Thoughts come and go. They just come and go. They're going to do that. The nature of the mind is to think thoughts. But it's in the overall general direction. How are you directing those thoughts? And you can certainly opt to stay in your misery. Like, honestly, it's a choice, right? It's totally a choice to stay in misery, to stay in these thoughts that are negative, and to stay in these lower vibrations. It's easier. Like, most of the world lives in lower vibrations. It is easier. I'll give you that. It's much, much easier to live in lower vibrations because that's the general consensus. The general consensus is most people live in really low vibrations. And so, of course, it's easier because birds of a feather flock together. It's much harder to live in higher vibrations. Even though it feels better, it's just much harder to do that. Because for a while, you'll be fighting against the current. And it's hard to be fighting against the current. It's really, really tough to be fighting against the current. But if you want things to shift and change in the Divine Feminine Collective in general, then it's each individual that must make the decision to start living at a higher vibration. And this comes by doing so many things that I've outlined in so many other videos. But in this video, I'm particularly speaking about the power of your thoughts. If your thought is, I'm never going to be with my twin flame, I'm never, ever, ever, ever in a million years, never going to be with them, it's not going to work, it's not going to happen. If those are your thoughts day in and day out and day in and day out, guess what? You're co-creating your reality. If you're saying, I can't believe my divine masculine is still with that third party person, and you keep saying that day in and day out, and you're fixating on that other person, what are you going to bring into your reality is more of that third party person. Because we move toward what we're thinking about. We move toward what we're looking at. But if you say, I'm going to be healthy and whole, healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I'm going to move my life forward in a way that is purposeful and mindful, then that's what you will move toward. I'm not really sure what you expected when you signed up for this twin flame journey. I know you're thinking right now, I didn't sign up for this, but you did. You did. You certainly did. You might not remember it, but you did. I don't know what you were expecting. I don't know if you were expecting it to be easy. Were you expecting it to be like a fairy tale? Were you expecting it to be like magic? Like you could just wave your wand or snap your fingers and your divine masculine would come riding to you on a white horse? Like, what were your expectations? Because oftentimes, if you look to your expectations, that's where you can find where your lower vibrations are. And one of my other mentors, Dr. Wayne Dyer, always said, trade in your expectations for appreciation. Trade in your expectations for appreciation. So if you're staying in lower vibrations because of your expectations, then maybe it's time to reevaluate your expectations, because maybe your expectations are unrealistic at this time. So I'll just give you one example. So if your divine masculine twin flame is married and has 3 children under the age of 5 and has $1 million mortgage payment, I don't know, $1 million home that he's having to pay for, and you expect him to drop everything and leave everything and everyone tomorrow for you, it might be time to reevaluate that expectation. And it may not be tomorrow. It could be in several years. It could be in 2 years. Who knows, right? But as I mentioned, it's often our expectations that keep us in misery. So when you redirect your thoughts to higher vibrational thinking, then oftentimes you can rise higher as well. And as you rise higher in your vibrations, then it will not only improve your life, it'll improve the lives of those around you. But in our case, as a Divine Feminine collective, it will also raise the vibration of the collective as well. But each individual has to participate. It's not about saying, well, you know, I kind of like where I am right now. It's not too terrible. It's not too bad. I don't really want to do that meditation stuff. I don't want to I don't want to take an hour of my day and meditate. I'm much more comfortable just being in my ego right now. You know what? I'll leave that to the next Divine Feminine to do that. It's each individual has to take responsibility for their part in this collective, in this spiritual movement toward higher vibrations. And if you do that, then it'll help everybody, including yourself. But I really believe, and I'm getting like messages through that the time is now. We've been, I don't know, I like this word. I heard it in a British comedy, faffing around. Like, we've been faffing around for long enough. We've just been, kind of floating around trying to understand the twin flame journey, trying to understand what the meanings are, trying to understand the signs and synchronicities. We've been trying to understand a lot for a while. And now it's time to stop messing around and just focus on raising your vibration. Focus on changing your thought patterns. Focus on no more stinking thinking. Like, acknowledge the negative thoughts, but don't stay in there. Don't stay in there, because if you stay in there, that's the directive you're giving your mind to move toward. So I want to thank you guys so much for your continued support. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other Divine Feminine twin flames. And thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can join a boot camp. You can join my meditation course. You can also buy some merch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.